Business now. We're going to start here in France today. The name of a new prime minister is expected. We hope, anyway. But the economic uncertainty is already, Charles, taking its toll, isn't it?
That's right, Stuart. The Bank of France's monthly survey of 8,500 firms published on Tuesday shows that business uncertainty has reached levels not seen since the energy crisis in 2022. Industry and construction sectors have seen their levels of doubt grow even higher than they did in June, when Emmanuel Macron called for snap elections. The services sector has risen also, though not to a record for the year. The baseline number for normal times on that graph is around 100. So currently all three of these sectors are over 200, as the collapse of Michel Barnier's government has left companies with no clear direction on taxes and spending in years to come. A special law will be presented to the cabinet this Wednesday with a stopgap budget that will allow the government to continue to function in the new year.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot more about the government a little bit later on in the programme. What about the stock markets then, Charles? How are they looking this hour?
Well, in Europe, at the open, we're seeing most major bourses opening lower, trading negatively, including the CAC 40 in Paris, which hosts the biggest French firms. Over the year, the index has gone down close to 2%. Investors also looking ahead to U.S. inflation data later this Wednesday. In Asia, Hong Kong and mainland stocks had initially gained on Tuesday after positive signs from China's Politburo about a potential future fiscal stimulus. But we're seeing a more mixed picture now, with the Hang Seng down 0.75% and the Shanghai Composite up over 0.25% higher.
And speaking of China, a key economic meeting is starting there today.
The Central Economic Work Conference is expected to run until Thursday and bring together the country's central and provincial leaders, as well as the heads of the state-owned firms, to make out economic strategy for the next year. This taking place as authorities have hinted at more proactive fiscal tools to support the economy, as well as looser monetary policy. China has been dogged by low consumer confidence, especially after the energy crunch caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in early 2022, coupled with the country's harsh COVID lockdown policies. The index stood at 85 points in September, when the average between 1991 and 2024 had been around 109 points.
OK, Charles is going to take us through some of the other business stories making headlines today.
The Japanese steelmaker Nippon Steel has slammed as inappropriate the influence of U.S. politics on its planned takeover of U.S. Steel. This statement coming after media reports saying that President Joe Biden will block the deal worth $14.9 billion. Biden is reportedly going to kill the sale on national security grounds. U.S. Steel says the merger is needed to avoid possible plant closures in Pennsylvania. Another merger between U.S. supermarket giants Kroger and Albertsons is also hitting a roadblock. Federal and state judges have halted the merger on grounds that it would lessen competition and could violate consumer protection laws. Both chains have expressed their disappointment and say that they are reviewing their options. The deal could be the largest grocery store merger in U.S. history and could help the groups better compete with the likes of Walmart and Amazon. And U.S. motor giant General Motors is giving up on its robo-taxi unit, Cruise. This follows a highly publicized incident last year when one of its self-driving cars dragged a woman in the streets who had previously been hurt by a hit and run by a driver in San Francisco. GM now plans to merge Cruise with its technical teams to concentrate on developing advanced driver assistance in personal vehicles.
Now, Charlotte is going to take us to Argentina next. This is President Javier Milei making a public address on his first year anniversary as president.
The self-titled anarcho-capitalist firebrand touted his time at the head of the country, saying that inflation has dropped to a 3-year low thanks to his drastic cost-cutting policies, and that inflation will soon be, quote, a bad memory. Poverty, however, has risen to 53% of the population, up 11.2% under his leadership. Looking forward, he's also vowed to pursue a trade deal with the United States.
To this end, our first objective will be to promote a free trade agreement with the United States next year, the agreement that should have been concluded 19 years ago.
Javier Milei there. Charlotte's going to end now by having a little bit of a look for us at the challenges facing Ukrainian agriculture.
Before Russia's full-scale invasion, Ukraine produced enough grain to feed 400 million people globally. And to get back on its feet, the country's farmers now have to learn a new skill not usually associated with agriculture, demining. Elitsa Gadeva has this.
Not far from the front line, Ukrainian farmers are clearing their land. They are working with the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization team that helps rural communities get rid of war debris polluting their soil.
The initial survey on demining began in 2023. Then the year after, we started the technical inspection of the fields. We have one field of 24 hectares in Luzy area. For now, we have cleared 15 hectares.
Before Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, Ukraine was one of the biggest wheat producers in the world, exporting 6 million tons of grain per month. Now, about 10% of its land is unusable because of landmines and discarded explosives. And although production is still far from pre-war levels, Ukrainian farmers are showing resilience.
I'm very impressed by the capacity of Ukrainian agriculture to respond to a very difficult crisis situation, which is being made worse, of course, by labor shortages, by high costs of energy, and very high logistic costs for transport, for insurance, and everything. FAO has been doing a huge amount of work here to support the resumption of full-scale agriculture.
The FAO warns it will be a long-term project. More than 10 million Ukrainians are set to live in areas where demining is necessary.
And back to you, Stuart.
Charles, thank you very much. Charles Pellegrin with the business on France 24. Can't bring you our press review today, I'm afraid, but a lot more coming up after the break, including our perspective today, looking at Yemen. So do stay with us for that.